Nice to see you as well.
Good afternoon, everyone. Town of LaPointe Regular Planning and Zoning Town Plan Commission, 4:30 PM, May 6, 2026. Call to order, roll call.
Charles Brummer.
Amy Baxter.
Jim Peters.
Joan Socha.
Paul Wilharm. Public comment, less than 1 minute. Anyone? David? None? Thank you. Zoning Administrator report.
Thanks, Paul. Everyone should have in their packet a summary of activities from April of 2026. On the zoning ordinance, thanks to the great teamwork, we were able to complete a final draft and are in the process of getting ready for the public hearing. We published the notice in the Ashland Daily Press on April 30th. For the public hearing to be conducted on May 20th at 5 PM here at Town Hall. The final document using track changes was also posted on the town's website on April 30th. And the notice that was in the newspaper was also posted at Town Hall, the library, and the post office on the same day. And then finally, a hard copy was made available for review here at Town Hall and the library. So thanks to the great work by the team on that. Permits, we had 5 new applications from property owners during the month, 3 of which were submitted the final week of April. And as you know, my goal is to always accommodate the property owners to the extent possible to make sure that they're on the next meeting agenda as to not delay any of their proposed efforts. This, not only helps the property owners get their project started, but it economically benefits the contractors as well so that they're able to start as soon as possible. All permit applications that need to be reviewed by the TPC that have been submitted are on the next agenda. So that's good news. I also include, as you know, grants on here. I'm not going to go into that, but that's for the town report as well. I always include the permit information status on the second page. And, in addition, I've been answering questions from property owners during the month. And some of those are on the agenda tonight, more for advisory and advice type information. Katie is here tonight, the short-term rental administrator. Work has been going great with her as well. We've completed, and we're going to talk briefly about later, a complaint resolution that we've been working on together that we're ready to go back to the property owner with. And in addition, 5 commercial permits and 6 daily permits have been issued. It's time for everyone to renew their rental permit applications. The deadline's in mid-June. So those are starting to come in. And Katie has also been working directly with the Verbo for out of compliance renters and with Pam in Ashland County, sharing information about new state regulations. So the work that she's been doing is strengthening the work that's being done by the town to ensure continued smooth operation. So thanks to her help on that. That's all I've got.
Thanks. Approval of previous meeting minutes from the special TPC meeting, April 15th, 2026.
The April 15th, 2026 special.
Discussion? All in favor?
Hi.
Aye. Okay, old business permits. And I'd like to make a motion on the last 2 since these last 2 are
8, 9, and 10.
Yeah, it's Bob Hartzell, so I'd like to make a motion to move that to the top if I could.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Well, Get Your Gumi expandable condominium proposed camping area.
Yeah, and we do have, Mr. Hartzell here tonight. Thank you for attending. He came in and met 2 or 3 weeks ago. And the first one is, the Get You Gumi expandable condo. I'll give the high level overview I talked about, and then please feel free to, with, Paul's permission, to add in anything that I either state incorrectly or I omit. But he's going through and developing the expandable condominium unit on approximately 80 acres or so. And those are smaller lots. They're roughly 64, they're in their 60s, right? 60 square, 60 feet by 60 feet.
Yeah, roughly about 4,000.
About 4,000 square feet, which then makes it very limited space around where those units are being developed. And the rest of that area in there is common space. There's an exhibit that I've included in your package. And down on the south side, so it'll be north of South Shore Road, Mr. Hartzell proposing an area for RV type trailer RV park for the people that have purchased a unit or in the process of going through construction. That way it's then grouping those people that would like to be here during construction in a similar area. Anything you'd like to add, Ananda?
Yeah, we're just trying to consolidate. Right now, as you drive down Mondana and people get a building permit, they start building a house, they typically got a combination of tents and RVs and stuff around their house as they're building, which I believe is all allowed in the zoning ordinance. And what we'd like to do is concentrate that down into this area that we've got an area where there's our water lines are going to be going by and electric will be going by. So that it will be real easy for somebody with an RV, and we're thinking of the contractors or the do-it-yourself builders that are building one of these houses in our development to be able to park there versus parking right next to their house. And it being a land condominium, it is all owners have a undivided interest in the common land throughout the deal. So of the person, it's zoned 1 house per acre. But if you're building, if you've got 4,000 square feet, you've got roughly 90% of the remaining land. So there's plenty of land down there to provide for an RV spot or a tent spot for a contractor or an owner to stay while they're building the house.
Any thoughts from anybody?
One on the back of that sheet of paper, I've included this is zoned R1 residential district. So that lists the permitted uses and conditional uses, so that you had that to take a look at as we talk.
Well, if it's proposed as an RV trailer, RV park, it's not allowed as permitted or conditional use. Almost sounds like a man camp that you'd find out in the oil sands of North Dakota, where you had all these concentration of RV and trailers in one area. So I don't know if the ordinance allows for such concentration, no matter what term you want to use. Here it's a proposed RV trailer and RV park. I don't see where the ordinance allows for that in the R1 residential district, low density, single family.
You do allow for an RV or a tent to be parked alongside a construction site.
But what you're almost proposing is like a concentrated area of RVs, an RV trailer and RV park. So yeah, true. If someone wants to put an RV trailer at their construction site, that's one thing, but I don't know where in the ordinance this would be allowed as proposed. That would be my concern.
Oops.
I agree with Charlie, there's it's not a permitted, allowed, or conditional use in R1.
I agree.
Yeah, the ordinance is clear. I think they'd have to put the trailer next to their house while they're building.
Well, if they put the trailer next to their house, they're still on common land. Whereas their building site, the lots are literally only 4,000 square feet, which is just allowing for the footprint of the building itself. And all the remaining land, they have an interest in the common land. So then how, I mean, if they park a trailer alongside their house going up, that you're saying would be okay. But that's also on this common land that is where all owners have an undivided interest.
Well, like Brickyard Creek, which is a planned unit development, has in their bylaws, no trailers are allowed. So, it would, in my mind, be up to, what your bylaws stipulate there.
Which we can change the bylaws to whatever is needed, yeah. As long as we get, we've got at this point, full agreement from the owners on.
Yeah, I mean, maybe you're okay with trailers that just remain, or maybe when the construction's, complete, the trailer has to go. It's, planned unit developments are guided by the bylaws, and our ordinance does permit one camper. I think it actually says one camper per parcel.
I think you're correct.
Yeah.
And again, it doesn't matter what the bylaws are, obviously you still have to follow the ordinance, so.
Yeah.
So if you have, if you have 4 houses under construction, we would be allowed 4 campers on the common land. And the common land is all the land outside of the building parcels.
Yeah, I mean, what does everybody feel on that? I mean,
I think that's just another
Yeah.
runaround for having a RV trailer park. I mean,
Well, we
the
could limit.
builders, if they don't have room on these small lots, might have to look at something.
These are individual lots here, so they can have a camper
Yeah.
with their dwelling.
Yeah, these right here, these are the 4,000 4,000 square feet for the building site.
Yeah, got it.
So there's plenty of room for an RV next to each one instead of
Yeah, except
looking like a
Except-
trailer park.
except the RV would be on the common ground and not the individually owned lot, because the individually owned lot is the 4,000 square feet. That's the size of the, basically the size of the,
The house.
a little bit bigger.
Well, is all 4 or 5 going to be built at once, or is this going to be in stages? I mean,
But I would think those individual lots that are being sold, a camper would be allowed in each of those lots.
yeah, on the golf course side of Mount Dam, and I agree.
Per our ordinance. But I'm still a little bit, iffy on it with the planned unit development. So I'm looking for other
I
thoughts.
don't think there's a planned unit development policy on this parcel. I don't think it wasn't a planned unit development, was it? Remember, Rich?
I don't remember.
I think it was just an expandable.
Yeah, expandable condominium.
Yep.
Yeah.
Are these small 4,000 square foot areas, are they individually owned at this point?
At this point, no, but we could potentially change that. I mean, in other words, we have, in other words, if what I hear you saying is that if the lots can accommodate an RV, before and during the construction of a primary residence.
But right now, those smaller lots, they're all owned by you?
Right now, everything is owned.
Okay, and you're building on some of them?
Yes, two of them are there, we've got permits on all four.
Okay, so this situation is a hypothetical one, that these smaller lots may be sold at some point, and another person may build on it at that time?
Correct, or, purchase the building, yeah.
Or right now, I don't see a need for an RV settlement anywhere because they're all owned by you and you're building on them. So there's no need to have an area for people that might come build on a lot, which you might sell to them.
Well, it would be one of the features of being able to sell, say we've got people in mind. If somebody wants to build, I mean, like I've got a particular contractor that would love to bring up his RV and park and go to town on building a structure on one of the lots.
Well, if you own all these lots, there's what?
There are 15 lots within the development.
So if you own all of them and you're gonna have a builder come up and build on one of the lots, he can park his equipment on one of the other. They're
If
not,
that's, that your interpretation, that wouldn't
I
work.
mean, a possibility.
Yeah,
Because we're talking about this as being one lot with small lots within the larger lot,
Yeah.
correct? That's how I look at it.
The little the little
Is the
squares
actual
here.
location of the building.
Yes,
Approximately.
that would actually be, deeded on sale, but the rest of it's common.
Mhm.
But each of those little squares would be deeded on sale, and right now, Mr. Hartzell owns them, but when one is sold, it is deeded.
Yep, I understand.
So yes, I guess that would be an option, musical little squares with the campers.
I just don't see where according to our ordinance, where you're allowed to have like a concentration of 5, 6, 7, 8, whatever it ends up being, RVs in one location
Right.
per our ordinance. How I interpret it.
Me too.
so if, being an expandable condominium, and we do have intentions of creating additional lots this coming summer, fall. So, and what I hear you saying is that would be an allowable use, is to park I mean, if somebody is interested in buying and building, you could park their RV and then go to town, and they don't necessarily have to work on that same lot, but they're on a lot, is what you're saying.
Yeah, if you're willing to allow them to stay on one of your lots that they're not buying,
Right, that's what I'm saying, yeah,
that's your decision, because there's a RV allowed to be on that lot.
right.
Yeah.
So we could, in the area that we're only proposing, and when I said a private RV park, up to 10 or whatever, but if we say created 4 lots in there, we could then park 4 RVs, as a temporary site,
One RV per lot.
1 RV per lot, yeah.
Yep.
But I think that area where you park the RVs would have to be close to their building site, not another area down by South Shore Road.
They'd be away, I mean, you can see, is there a reason for, I mean, they'd be away from that one site, but they would be, I mean, they're within the expandable condominium there. Is there an issue, I mean, what is there a reason for what the distance would be or not be?
Well, I think the issue might be that if you have them down by the South Shore Road, it's a concentration, it's almost a campground, and that's not allowed in R1.
Okay, but four additional sites would be, I mean, in other words, is that what is the definition of a concentration? You know, the only reason why is that for us to hook up, you know, create a power grid from Excel and also hook up 4 water stations, et cetera. That would, I mean, it doesn't have to, I mean, we have to keep the lots 500 feet or 1,000 feet apart or, I'm not sure what the purpose or I mean, we can create the 4 lots for it. I mean, our idea would be probably to create 10 to 15 additional lots this coming summer and fall, depending a little bit how the sales go, but,
And those additional lots would follow the same, you know, plan as the little, boxes that are here now?
yeah, well, right now, I mean, the way expandable condominium is designed is that you go, oh, build over there, I'll build over there, I'll build over there, and there is no, I mean, there is logic from what, you know, I would encourage to say, okay, so like, for instance, we are thinking of building a cluster of houses down by that pond area, a little bit beyond there, where there was a camper a few years back. And so that would be sort of our next building site where we might say, hey, we've got reason to build 4 or 5 houses in this area. So that would be, that's in our intention, our plans to do that.
Okay, well, as you progress, we'll keep our eyes peeled for a new map with more little boxes.
But I mean, it costs money to develop that map. And so what I'm hearing you say is that we're not really clustering. And I guess, well, if there was a definition of, but in other words, if we came up with another 4 or 5 lots, we could, you know, allow a owner of one of the lots that are being worked on, which is all me right now, but I've got people that I'm lining up for potentially buy, and they've got a contract that they want to come up and work on their house. You're allowing 1 RV per lot. And
it's up to you, you know, what the bylaws stipulate.
right, well, we can, like, I see the bylaws right now, we have 100% control over those bylaws, and we can.
Yeah, I mean, I would think when the whole development's done, you probably wouldn't want a camper.
No, that's our whole purpose of trying to eliminate campers. We want to make this a really clean, non-camper, no temps type development.
Because don't you have some campers in there now?
Right, that was in an area where we went through the same thing where that is, we've designated an area off of Pump House Road, which is gonna be for future combination employee, year-round employee type development there. And that area is where we've got the camper. We went and got the permits for the camper. So we got 3 campers as of right now. Now.
And the only thing that gives me pause is when Bob mentions water and electrical, all, and maybe sewer, all being brought into one area. That sounds like an RV trailer park, RV park. As long as you're not planning on doing something like that. And you have these, and you're correct, you can have an RV or a trailer at an individual site while you're building a house, but we're trying to avoid having basically an RV campground in a zoning district where it's not permitted as a permitted use or a conditional use. But it sounds like at the end of when all these buildings are constructed, RVs and trailers are not going to be permitted in there anyhow.
Right.
What you just said.
Is that part of the bylaws as they exist today?
You know, to be honest, I haven't memorized the bylaws, but yes, that is our intention. And like I say, we've got the control over of creating the bylaws. We don't want to see RVs and a trailer. I mean, in fact, the next agenda item for this same subject in a different way. But we are trying to create a clean environment where we don't see, I mean, if you drive up Montana, somebody builds a house in their tents or RVs, I mean, it looks cluttered. And, you know, some people don't mind that, some people do. But that's where your zoning ordinance is, I think, following that same concept of trying to limit RVs just leaving parking your boat in your front yard.
So would the goal long term be not to have quote unquote employee campers, on pump house? Were there gonna be permanent structures built there?
Correct, yeah, we would like to build, yes.
Yeah.
But we're following the intent of the law, I mean, in order to, and like I said, right now, in existing. How things are being built today is the person applies for a permit, but they move up a tent and then an RV. And then they start building their house and they quite often the RVs and the tents multiply and are right around an immediate house structure and so forth. Well, they, like this just allows them to say, well, if we got a lot, a little way, within walking distance, but not immediately adjacent to the house. So that we can build a house, clean up the site and keep, and police the site and, yeah. That is,
Well, yeah, completely understand the goal.
uh,
Unfortunately, our zoning, doesn't really reflect that. So I hope this discussion offers you a way to maybe.
but that's what I'm hearing is that if we put an RV on its own individual lot. And then we bring in the water and electric, that would be the two big things for an RV. Which is a $5,000 cost to
Yeah,
that lot.
Which you'd need to do anyway for the.
For a house, yeah.
Oh, right, but we don't do build, we got 15 sites there, we're not bringing in water and sewer. And actually having hookups and, there's an additional cost. When you say, okay, we're gonna put an RV there, I mean, I'm going to, so that's what, we'd like to have. Clarification, and I think I'm hearing it, I don't know, Rick, if you could help me here. But if we can put an RV on one of the other lots, that would be great.
Yeah.
That's what that would be super.
Yeah,
And that would allow for us to build and keep the area cleaned up. And provide for an area where, if a person's building a house here and he's got, like his brother is, or a good friend is a contractor with a, RV. And we can, let him use another lot. Where he can then put that there, yeah.
yeah, and as long as your bylaws, stipulate that the campers won't be there forever, although. Legal if they can be there forever. If they're not there forever, it would, give a certain crowd a warm
As long as
fuzzy.
they follow the ordinance, they can be permitted.
Okay.
That's
I
it.
think that provides,
so-
okay, so you can, as I talk with you for the permit, you understand what, where we're going there, yeah.
I do. I mean, my question, I think, is, right now you have, I think it's 15, I cut off the top here when I created this exhibit, but you're gonna be creating X number of additional 4,000 foot pads, correct?
Correct, yeah.
So,
We can stipulate 5,000 or 6,000.
right,
Yeah.
right. But it's an issue of, and I'm trying to summarize here so we're all on the same page when we walk out of here. That, if there were another 15 of them somewhere further south, that then he could put a temporary camper on each one of those sites for property owners that are,
They already own the piece of land.
yes.
As long as it's in the little square.
And also, I think that if you look at the exhibit we have here, that those squares are spaced apart. We would not like to see 4 of them butting up next to each other. So now you have a cluster of RVs in one spot, as long as they're separated, consistent with what's on this map. I think
Well, like you said, it's separated close to the actual building site is what I think is allowed.
Yeah.
Is when we're
Right.
talking about 5, 10, 15 in one area. And I know what Bob's trying to do. He's trying to consolidate costs by doing all the utilities in one spot. But then that's borderline, if not beyond, on the other side of what a proposed RV trailer park is.
Yeah.
I mean, that crosses the line in my.
This current cluster is within the industry standards for expandable condominium, so if they,
Yeah, I'm not arguing
if the
that.
next portion of it, they were all together, it wouldn't
No,
be industry standards and the surveyor probably wouldn't even stamp it.
What, does anybody have the state statute, chapter 703, that they could read to me? That makes expandable condominiums? Like, how many squares are allowed to be on here?
Right, yeah, and I don't have that with me, but that's something that we can,
Because I'd like to read that before we, you know, I don't know how many squares are allowed on here.
Well, it's zoned house per acre. So you've got roughly 80 acres. Now, I do not intend on building 80 houses, but that is by your standard.
Yeah.
That's by the law.
Okay.
That's what I'm.
It's way under the threshold for buildings versus green space.
Okay. Yeah, that's all I want.
Yeah. So and if you take 4,000 out of an acre, you're leaving roughly 90% of the whole development as common space.
Yeah. But as a comparison, Brickyard Creek is a lot more dense.
Okay,
no, it's in your bylaws. And a person is gonna build a home, and they will take their building structures and put them on a different lot. It would be written that as long as the house was under construction, that could be there, but the minute it was completed, it would have to leave.
Yeah, I mean, we could write it anyway, yeah.
Yeah, so,
I mean, I assume is that the way the law is today for, you can have a house on Mondamin and then keep an RV there as long as it's under construction, right? Or,
no, it would depend. Now, we bought our lot from the fellow that started Brickyard Creek, and it was written that as long as the house was under construction, you could have an RV or something there, yes. But the minute it was completed, it had to leave.
Mhm.
Now, down the line, they didn't have to sign that, but we signed that covenant.
Mhm.
I think that's a good thing to have.
Just a suggestion, you know, we can't mandate it because.
Right.
you know,
But yeah, I mean, that's our intent, is that we don't want to see RVs in there long term. But carpenters and owner builders need a place to stay while they're building and under construction.
Okay, let's move on to the next one, the proposed boat storage yard.
I acquired some land, and I think, we got, I think that looks pretty good. I got another, site plan, but, well, outside of the expandable condominium, outside of the, Raspberry Fields plat, which is where we created the 15 lots. We've got, another lot that borders Mondamin, and right now, as you drive up Mondamin, you'll see it, they're both belong to me, are parked on my lot up there. We've leveled the lot a little bit, and we've got the grading permit and what we'd like to do. And this is in keeping with the rest of the development, is put up a privacy fence around that lot. And roughly, we're looking at maybe 3 to 4 acres there. We've got a room for additional storage of whether it be boats or RVs, and create an area for both the Raspberry Fields plat and plot area, along with our new, we'd like a boat storage yard. And it is my understanding that storing boats and trailers and so forth on my own land is a permitted use. But if it becomes a formal boat storage yard where I would, welcome other people and there'd be a charge for storing a boat or an RV. And this again would create an area that is really needed by the island. You look at what the marina has for boat storage. The site is easy access to the marina. And it has no power lines going across the road, so you can pull a sailboat with its mast up in the marina and drive up to this storage lot without any hindrance. And so we'd like to explore the opportunity to build something that we feel that the island really needs. In particular, there are two developments because we've our Raspberry Fields plat, which was put together last year. We rely on all the zoning requirements conditions from the town. We didn't really add much in our own additional covenants to those lots. And so one of the things that the zoning ordinance, I believe, does is that you can't have. It limits the amount of RVs and boats and things that you can have on your lot. I guess I'm looking for direction on how to go, where to go with this, other than, I mean, if I keep it all my own. It is my understanding that you really, I mean, this for storing stuff is not on your own lot. Especially if we put up a privacy fence, is that an issue? Is it an issue once we start charging outside customers? I'm open for, I'm looking for feedback.
I think this would fall under warehouse storage facility. Currently, the only zone that's allowed is in W2 as a conditional use, C1 as a conditional use, light industrial 1 as a permitted use, light industrial 2 as a permitted use, and the marina district as a conditional use. I don't see it allowed again in R1. So Bob's correct. He can store all the boats that he owns, but to have it for, you know, have your shingle out on the road saying, you know, storage here, I don't see where it's allowed unless you petition and change a permitted or conditional use in the R1 district. That's how I read it. If you own property in any of those other zones, you could either apply as a conditional use or it would be a permitted use. I just see this as a warehouse / storage facility. I don't know how anyone else feels.
Where did you find that?
Well, it's in our word sketch. And if you go to the individual warehouse storage facility and run across matrix,
Right.
it's listed there.
So, yeah, if it's personal, that's one thing, but.
Yeah, I mean, if it's your boat,
Yeah,
yeah, by all means, you can store anything you want, but I think again, it crosses a line when it becomes a business or something of that nature, especially in an R1 zone. Unless again, you petition to change the zoning district or the language in the zoning ordinance to include a warehouse / storage facility, either as a conditional or permitted use in R1. But again, R1's a low density, 1 acre zone.
How did, and I understand he's back, he's left the island, but Chad Binsfield, that his storage facility.
well,
Was he renting it out?
that was he had his home there too. That was a home-based business.
Okay, so would that be, if I found somebody who wanted to live there? So that, I mean, is that the condition?
Not in R1.
Not in R1.
He was in R1.
But was he renting it out to individual people?
No, just.
Well, he had a condition, he had a
Home,
permit
he
to
might have just had a home occupation.
home occupation for,
Yeah.
and he was building because he cleared a lot of land and you had an opportunity.
The only difference between a home occupation and a home business is the number of employees. So he was under the employee threshold with an occupation.
And he never did anything with it, as far as I know.
But,
He never did anything with it, as far as I know.
right, I know he came to me because he needed an easement on, from me to build that facility, and it was he had plans for building a big, pole barn or for storage. and it was a home occupation type deal. So, and keeping under the number of employees. So if I sold this to, Jim Smith, who is a marina wants, that would be an allowable, that, I mean, you'd have to jump through the same hoops as Chad. But it could be done, you're saying, under using the same condition with method that Pittsfield.
Yeah, if you built a home there and
Yeah,
But that doesn't mean, I mean, there's still requirements for a home occupation, home business. And I don't think a storage yard would fall underneath a home occupation, home business, but we're not at that point to make that determination yet.
yeah.
I mean, there are rules on home business, home occupation. Some people think it allows you to do anything you want, like a commercial use in a residential zone. And that's not the point of a home business, home occupation.
I think you're right, Jerry, that home occupation is designed to have a occupation business of sorts in a building. Nothing, does not say anything about outdoor.
In fact, home occupation, home business restricts how much you can have outside, I believe. Like 1 or 2 trailers or trucks that are associated with the business. So again, people have to realize that when they're doing business in a residential zone, they're in a residential zone. There are people that live there to live there.
Mhm.
Otherwise, you have to look at like other zones, W2, C1, for instance, maybe.
So to have a boat storage as a home occupation would be a
I don't see it.
difficult thing to.
Yeah, I just don't see it.
It might fly in 20-acre zoning.
Possibly, but not in.
That's you can store your own equipment, your boats there, your personal property.
I agree with you, Bob. It's a need on the island to have boat
so
storage.
it's a need, I mean, Chad's been to, was it Champ? Or, yeah, that, been, I mean, because he laid out his plan there, he had plans for a 10,000 square foot, you know, or a big building, I don't know, I don't want to say exactly how much. But he got the conditional or home occupation for having that boats or not, and even targeting the boats, but it was primarily storage.
Well, the key there is the stuff was gonna be inside this building that you speak of.
Okay.
I don't remember it being that big either, what he proposed.
It was pretty big, so I recall.
I'm just, as you say, there's a need, and I guess what I'd like to do, I mean, there's a huge need on the island, and I don't want to, fight City Hall. What I'd like to have is City Hall work with me on satisfying a need.
Well, we're have to go by the ordinance, and right now the ordinance does not allow it.
No,
Well, but you do allow what Chad had.
I don't know if we allowed
I
that.
don't remember anything that big is what we allowed.
As memory serves me on that, he was a builder and he was gonna store building materials inside this building.
Exactly.
It had to be neat all the way around because it was seen from Mount Damon. We
Yep.
see that.
It's just storage for his own stuff,
For his own-
he wasn't
Wasn't
having customers
wasn't
come in and out of the property.
storing somebody else's skid steer, it was his own skid steer.
Exactly, yeah.
That's the difference. The occupation is supposed to be something that you're doing, like I'm making jam.
Yeah.
And I'm not having like people bring boats in and out of my property.
Yeah.
That has to be in a different zoning where you're not bothering your neighbors with.
Well, then, because the way it is right now, I mean, you're gonna end up with RVs and boats and so forth throughout this whole area. It'll go up and down Montana, et
Yeah.
cetera. And here's where I'm trying to create a potential need there.
Yeah, we just have to have it somewhere else though, somewhere where it's zoned
Well,
okay. Not,
But where else can, I mean, if you're gonna store a boat, an RV, I mean, this, you're saying,
it just has to be in commercial, in any of the zones that he told you about, that's where you have to.
Yeah, W2, C1, light industrial 1, light industrial 2, or the marina district. If you own property in the marina district, you could apply it for a conditional use for a storage facility, and that would fly. You just can't do it here, Bob.
Then generally speaking, anything that's stored inside a building is subject to less complaints to just stuff that's.
And that was one of my long-term thoughts too, is to be able to put up a pole barn that would store bolts, yeah.
Just pick a new zone.
Yeah, but when you pick a new zone, I mean, it could be out by Arnie's sand pit on the north end. But that defeats the concept of having we're close to the marina and, it defeats the business purpose of the facility. Okay.
Yeah, that's,
So the need is, I hear you say,
that's,
the
that's
need is there.
the needs
Is
there.
there a way, I love to, I'll try, and like I said, I'm trying to be positive and putting it in an Island Gazette and promoting this to say, hey, we've got the potential solution. And the question mark is, how do you go about creating that within the zoning there?
You'd have to change the zoning ordinance. You'd have to change either the verbiage of that zone if you're hell bent for this, or you'll change R1 there to say W2 or C1 or something like that.
Yeah.
But just remember, everyone who lives and owns property in R1 is going to be notified on this change.
Right, yeah.
And
Not everyone might share your enthusiasm, but
yeah,
I'm just throwing it out there. I've been on zoning a long time.
yeah,
Okay.
so it's on.
Well, I think this is a good discussion and let's continue the dialogue.
Yeah.
We want to work with you and see if there's any solutions.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, our main job is to interpret the ordinance and that's what we're doing and
Mhm.
so.
Yeah. Very good.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you, Bob.
Can I make another suggestion on being the scheduler?
Sure.
Okay, since Katie's stayed, she's here really to hear item number 6.
Okay.
So if there's any way that we could move item 6 up to next, that would be.
So I'll make a motion. We move item 6 up to next and
I'll second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, so item 6 is for the complaint resolution. And this is in relation to 951 Whitefish Street. Myself as the zoning administrator and Katie as the rental administrator. We've completed our review of the complaints that we received on 2 events from last August and September. Along with, we've been working with the town's building inspector, who compiled a list of 18 action items based on a site visit last September. We are prepared to meet with the property owner to go over our final determination on that, as well as with the building inspector who's going to visit the property the 3rd week of May and go through. There's 18 items. One really doesn't apply, but the building inspector has listed 10 of them that he'd like to see completed in the next 30 days. 6 of them in the next 6 months and 1 complete within a year. So anyway, we're ready to meet with the property owner. We wanted to just advise TPC that that's going to occur. And keep you posted as we go through that process.
What was the complaint? I don't remember.
So that was on events that were being held.
Oh,
At 951 Whitefish Street.
Yes,
okay.
Just up the road here, Sue.
Yeah.
yes.
Thanks, Katie and Rich, for your continued work on this and the associated anxiety.
And Steve as well.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, 442 Boho Lane. Certified survey map.
Yep. So you have one sheet of paper regarding this. This is a certified survey map request. The property owner is acquiring the dark outline is the final property disposition. If you look up about 25% of the way up from the bottom, you'll see a dashed line. That's the dashed line. That area south of that is the area that he is combining with his existing. And the county has already approved it. We have the CSM ready for town board. And it's on the agenda for their meeting on May 12th. So it's, I'm just looking for a recommendation tonight to approve it.
I'll make a motion to recommend to the town board approval of the Joseph and Francis Seiler certified survey map at 442 Bojo Lane.
Second.
Discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
442 Bojo Lane, dwelling addition.
And last week or last month, you'll remember that we reviewed carport. This tonight is for a home addition and a deck. And the reason we didn't address that a month ago is because it was contingent upon the CSM being
For a
approved.
bedroom and bathroom.
Yes.
And they don't need a sanitary for the new bathroom.
No, so I coordinated with Madeline Sanitary District and
Is that because the house is already hooked up to the?
yes,
Okay.
yes, and it's not enough new.
Okay.
So the originally this the deck crossed the property line, but because the lot has been added, all of the setbacks are good. I was out there on Friday. I did all my site visits last Friday. It's marked. It's ready to go. Yeah. Now, so the only thing is that obviously I wouldn't be writing the permit on this until after the town board meeting on the 12th.
Issue the CSM.
Yeah. Well, the CSM has to come first, but
Yeah.
yes.
I'll make a motion to approve the Joseph and Francis Seiler dwelling addition land use permit at 442 Bojo Lane as submitted.
Second.
Any discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
864 Main Street, LaPointe Lodging, new deck.
No, so this is just for the construction of a new deck. Just you can actually see the building from here. 864 Main Street. So adding I think it's 30 by 14 deck.
And
And
a little fence around it.
yes,
Okay.
yep. I did the site visit on Friday. It's kind of marked where it's going to be. I walked off where.
Yeah, and it looks like it's gonna be in line with the side of the, so it's, meets the setback, obviously.
Yep, yep. So no issues, no concerns on this one.
I'll make a motion to approve the land use application for Point Lodging LLC at 864 Main Street as submitted.
Second.
Any discussion, all in favor? Aye. 2284 Spirit Lane,
Yep, and this one's for clearing, leveling and graveling a site for a 12 by 24-foot shed. Included on page 2, this is a representative example of the shed, not the actual shed that's going to be there, but that's what it's going to look like. This one is pretty much in the absolute middle of the lot. No issues on setbacks. No wetlands in that area. I performed the site visit on May 1st. We have a couple of photos. One really of kind of where it's going to be located. There's no issues with this.
Make a motion to approve the land use permit for Jill Eloff, Eric Eloff, Tony Franklin at 2284 Spirit Lane as submitted.
any discussion, all in favor? Aye. 1812 North Shore Road, David Donkers bunkhouse.
Yep, so this one's for a bunkhouse out on North Shore Road. At the tightest part of the measurements, it's 77 feet from the property line. The requirement is 50 feet, so we clear that very easily. There's no sanitary, no electric, this is more just for solution. 236 feet or so from the ordinary high water mark, on the bottom of page 2 and on the top of page 3. I don't believe these are actually it, but they're very similar to what's being proposed. And then starting on the bottom of page 3, it's the site visit last Friday. It is staked off. And I always do on the bottom of page 4, I do the app where I can see where I'm at in relationship to the property line, even though I know that those property lines aren't exact. But it's just another way of, when you're looking at 77 feet, just feeling comfortable that truly are 77 feet away from the property line. No wetlands in that area, no issues.
One question though,
Yep.
maybe this is more of a general question. They list it as a bunkhouse. When does a bunkhouse become an accessory dwelling? I mean, do we allow like 4 or 5 bunkhouses for human habitation and none of them are accessory dwelling until plumbing goes in? Or something I've just been wondering. I think we've been kind of loose on that whole interpretation in the past. Although what's to prevent someone from using a storage building like the last permit we approved to have people sleep in there? Not that you're going around or anyone's going around looking in on these things, but since they wrote down bunkhouse, I'm curious what everyone else thinks about what's the difference between a bunkhouse and an accessory dwelling?
I think it is plumbing.
Huh?
Same thing.
Plumbing?
Well, I mean, is there there's no difference in as far as issuing a permit goes. I don't think
The
there are
permit
any
is for an
different
accessory structure, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
Hmm,
Yeah,
they just call it a bunkhouse.
okay.
I don't think it really affects anything. Fees are the same, I mean, square footage.
Correct.
Okay, and they wouldn't be allowed another one.
They wouldn't?
No, because you only have one, it's a bunkhouse is an accessory dwelling.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you just said it's an accessory structure.
Put it-
You did.
Did it?
Yeah, you're contradicting yourself.
Oh,
You're at high hopes for you, Jim.
I think it should actually be a dwelling.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, rather than an accessory structure.
that was my question.
yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
But
That's what I think.
a lot of
but
people have accessory structures that they throw a bed in.
I know that.
I think the applicant here is really trying to do his due diligence.
And
I know I've slept in my car several times and I never stopped in to get a permit.
That's okay. That's more of a police issue. anyway.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, I think you're right, Terry, there should be an accessory dwelling.
Yeah.
Okay.
Accessory
That's fair.
structure.
Yep.
As long as they change that on the permit, and
Okay.
they can fine.
Yeah, so I'll make a motion to approve the land use permit with that change for David Donkers at 1812 North Shore Road as with that change.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Hi.
So 935 Middle Road, addition to existing dwelling, 1 room and a deck. Lucille Stringer.
So this is a one-room addition to an existing structure and a deck. Application was submitted and is complete on pages 2 and 3 of the data package. Shows where the addition is located in relationship to the existing structure. And I did my site visit on May 1st. Photos are including pages 4 and 5. It meets the setback. There was a question I'd had, because of kind of how the lot, has angles here, whether this is rear or side, but the setback requirements are the same 50 feet for rear side. So it doesn't really matter determining is that side or is that rear. But it meets it, by a few feet. This is one where you could not extend further north. But where it's staked out, and there's actually blue tape. I included one of the photos of blue tape on the side of the existing structure, to show where the front and back are. So I felt comfortable.
Make a motion to approve the recommendation for Lucille Stringer, 935 Middle Road. And deck.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
I,
933 Nebraska Row, 6th Street vacation.
Yeah, so this is one that we've been working on for a few months. It slowed down over there because a survey needed to be completed, but you should have in the package. And I should have clipped them together. There's 4 sheets of paper, but there's a vacation detail map where the surveyor was out this year, a couple months ago, and updated that drawing. That's the portion of the road that they would like vacated. And then the second sheet would be the Liz Pendens on application to layout, alter, or discontinue a highway. Then there's a notice of public hearing, which requires ultimately a resolution. And so tonight it would be
A recommendation.
a recommendation to take it to the town board for next Tuesday. And then that starts a 40-day clock in which the property owners has to be notified and public hearings to be conducted. So that sets the wheels in motion for,
Town board does the public hearing?
yes. So,
And is this gonna be handled the same way as that easement for the yacht club, where all expenses for all this legal work would probably be borne upon the person that's benefiting from this, which would be Meshner, or
yes.
what's the other name?
So regarding the legal work, we had talked.
And I guess that's up to the town board more than us.
Well, we had talked with the property owner, and the property owner would be paying the legal fees for,
And the public hearing.
and the public hearing, I need to clarify.
Yeah, because there's gonna be posting involved with that expenses and.
Yes, so we did talk legal fees, and they were on board. This is not a significant amount. However, that being said, the attorney that is doing this for us is tracking those hours separately to be able to build this through.
Fairly, I think, the fees can be part of our recommendation to the board.
Yeah,
We could include that so that they're aware that we know that there's costs involved and how we feel about it, so.
yeah.
Yeah, and like I said, I did have a conversation with property owner about fees. I didn't get down into the level of weeds of individualizing it, but that they were in agreement that,
Well, we can just say every associated fee.
yes.
I'll make a motion to recommend to the town board. I guess, let's see this. Pursue the 6th Street vacation, including all associated fees with said vacation,
Be borne by the applicant.
informed by the applicant. Commissioner,
Second.
is that adequate, Rich?
Yes.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
978 Middle Road, Craftivity, 168 square foot storage building.
Yeah, so in your data package, you have 2 sheets of paper that are stapled. The first sheet just gives you the overall view of property lines associated with Craftivity and Madeline Island School of the Arts. That's on the front page. And the reason I included that is because the property owner provided on page 2 a zoom of what they're trying to do. And my understanding is that, the red rectangle, that's up to the upper left-hand corner of this drawing was where a 3,000 to 4,000 square foot, building was going to be, constructed. There was a permit that was issued in 2024 that was part of, the original CUP, that was never built. And what they would like in lieu of is this 168 square foot, storage building, that's the second smaller red, considerably smaller, because we're talking 3,000 down to 168. And they're asking to move forward with that 168 foot building in lieu of the 3,000 to 4,000 building. Now, at the bottom of that is really, subparagraph L of the CUP, that was issued, in 2018. Just so everyone had, for full disclosure, the CUP, I pulled the CUP out of the file. On the very back page, I just highlighted L. Because any sort of request like this, I want to be fully transparent on, what I know of. I don't see this issue, me personally, as deviation from the CUP, because they did have a permit in 2024 for a much larger building. Things have changed, a lot has changed since then. They've sold some properties, not at this location, but other locations, where they're just looking for storage. But again, I wanted to be fully transparent with subparagraph L.
Yeah, not to be too rigid, but I don't see how they can do this with that language in there under L. Because, CUPs, especially this one, and Sue Ellen can contest to this because we're both on it together. Believe it or not, I think you have to adhere how it's written unless you have a CUP amendment to get rid of L to add something else where that is allowed. But when it says, there shall be no further structure added to the facility ever, other than those mentioned above and already permitted, I think we have to abide by that as the language in the conditional use.
So they just shouldn't have gotten the permit in 2024 because it's after
Mhm.
2012.
Well, they did get a permit, and it's either for, I'm not certain if it's for subparagraph D or E.
Did they actually pull the permit for the
Yes.
3,000 square foot building?
Yes.
Paid for the permit?
Yes.
Is that permit expired?
I don't, I'd have to look.
So if the permit's not expired and they build something that's not as big as what they paid for, then in lieu of might fly.
I just don't know how they got it in the first place if it's
I don't-
after this date.
I don't even-
Well, it's because it was approved.
Well, let's face it, guys, there was like 7 freaking amendments to this thing, right? So, Ellen, 7 or 8.
Yeah.
How many?
11 buildings they ended up with.
Well, yeah, I agree with that. And it's like 20, 30,000 square feet of commercial, building out there, which is by far the largest commercial facility on the island in a residential zone. But that's an argument for another day, in the W2 zoning district. But, this was put in there so they couldn't continually build buildings. I know what Paul's saying, but, this is a building other than what they applied for. So I don't see how that is complying with L.
So,
Otherwise, or.
So they get one of these sheds that's 100 square feet or less without a permit, right?
yes,
They can have
2 of them.
2 of those.
Well, right, I mean,
One
Well-
without a permit.
One without a permit.
one without a permit, right?
And then any additional 100 square foot storage building would need a permit.
Yes.
Well, if it
Which
falls
they-
underneath one
Which
of
they
these other.
can't, which they can't get because of L.
Well, and why did we spell out like F, a replica, a brooder house, approximately 108 square feet?
That
G,
was-
a replica greenery, 120 square feet. H, a replica chicken coop, approximately 120 squire feet. A replicate outhouse, approximately 25 feet.
This is all stuff they get?
That's stuff they're allowed. It's a
Okay.
conditional use permit.
Right. Well, because it's a CUP, we gotta go by the letter of the law here.
Believe it or not, if they're allowed that 4,000 square foot building, they can build the frickin' building.
Yeah, so 4,000 square feet of storage, but they can't have 216.
168.
Yeah, 168.
So.
That's following the CUP.
Yeah, so I'm just trying to think of, is there a way? So. This was a lot of effort to go through and there's been 11 CUPs. I mean.
Yeah, there was a lot of effort. You missed all the fun.
Yeah. Well, and what I'm trying to do at this point is, I think a lot has changed in the past couple of years, is there a way through an exchange of paper, if they were to request this in lieu of this, that becomes part of.
CUP amendment, you'd have to amend the CUP. There's no, this isn't Monty Hall, let's make a deal.
Okay.
We've been through this enough, Sue Ellen. Chime in, I don't want to say everything, but
No,
we've been through it a lot with this property, Rich.
Okay, I'm just trying to think out loud.
The only thing I gotta say is that you have to apply for a CUP amendment to change L or add something else.
And if they're thinking about 3,000 square feet of storage, they need to get that permit renewed before it expires.
we made that language as such for a reason. Because we went through this over and over and over.
And over and over.
Well, even if they were to let that permit expire, they could apply for another one.
Yeah, if it's
According to what's written here.
if it's part of the,
So they're allowed that building, whether they pull a permit, don't build it. 5 years later, they decide to build it, they still can according to the CUP, so they just have to apply for another permit.
Does that permit have design plans and the?
All I've been able to find is the actual permit. I don't have what.
but the interesting thing is, Jim, if you read the language in the zoning, CUPs, you just can't, I believe you just can't keep, getting all of this and not do something with it within, 2 years or something like
There's a
that?
time frame.
I think that's in there, if you look. Yeah, I think there is something in there, and that's the reason why, at least in 2019. Now, a lot of this was prior to 2019, but I think in section 7 of our ordinance now, there is a requirement, I believe, if not, it should be in there, that you just can't stockpile all of this stuff without doing something with it within a certain amount of time. And that was to encourage the applicant, the
take
builder,
action.
whatever, to proceed or progress with your intended development.
That's it. No kumbaya for
Sorry,
creativity.
sorry, I think
Understood.
that's, their only option is to get a CUP amendment. They're really stuck on it.
Okay, and we took care of these last two zoning ordinance rewrite, review and public hearing on May 20th. I think things are looking great with us. Thanks, Rick. And what does everybody feel about public hearing coming up?
We got the healing motion thing.
Yeah, that's after.
Oh, yeah.
It's before Memorial Day.
Yeah. Coming quick.
Yeah.
All right, proposal.
Before we leave that, I want to ask people on the shipping containers. That was distributed to everyone. Are there any concerns or questions on that? I think from the little feedback I got back is that the definition is fine and the language we changed so that they have to.
And we're still gonna have to tweak stuff after the public hearing, and it's gonna go to the town's attorney and,
I think it's fine, Joe.
Should we try to include this at this point, or we just want to wait till after the public hearing and everything and then sneak it in there?
I think
Because
we
when
have to wait
something,
after,
like,
because I think it might be a hornet's nest, so I think we have to wait until after.
And have a totally separate public hearing for just this?
No,
I'd try and include it.
Yeah,
yeah, I would
Would you?
try it, yes.
we may as well
Yeah.
do all the pitching at once.
Well, I think how we could handle it at this point is we could update the draft. Not including it in the language of the draft that's on the website,
Yeah,
because page numbers would change, you know.
But just as in the,
we could
As
certainly,
as an attachment.
we could certainly enter it in just as this.
Yes.
yeah,
That's
Yeah,
what
I
recommend.
would enter it in, yep.
And
Yeah.
put it, the version that's here and in the library and.
We can tell
Speak,
people
yeah.
this is a last minute deal.
Yeah.
This is that.
Okay.
Well, and welcome input, yeah.
Yeah,
That's why you have a public
And
hearing.
then the 10th then on the 20th to go through, I mean, we're going to assemble and then go through chapter by chapter.
depending upon how many people are here. I mean,
Understood.
Yeah.
Might be 50 and might be 3.
All right, proposal for the Healing Motion Wellness Center, and there's a letter here.
Yeah.
This is another CUP that's looking for some changes where changes might not be available. They've got a home business conditional use permit.
And kind of what I talked about earlier in this meeting is with home business, home occupation, it's got to be tied to a home. And
Well, they're already looking to move forward immediately with a non-stock corporation 501c3 and have a board of directors running this thing, which that all by itself, whether they subdivide that property, puts this thing,
then there's an issue, isn't there?
yeah. It makes, if they do what they say they're gonna do right away in the letter, it makes the current CUP immediately revocable.
Well, see, people do not understand the concept of zoning, I swear, because they act like that's commercial property out there, and it's not. And the idea of home occupation, home business, is to allow someone to do a small type of a business from their home, which I thoroughly endorse. But there are limitations, and they have to realize that. And I don't know why people can't figure that out. And this is an S1. It's, it's not W2, W1. This is Shoreline 1 of all places.
Yeah, I mean, it happens to be across from the town shop and the airport, which, eases the pain a little bit with people driving by, but nevertheless, there are neighbors on the lake.
so if they, I'm trying to figure this out too. So they're looking at separating that parcel from the rest of the land they own there and donating the land and the building and making a nonprofit.
Correct.
There's nothing in our ordinance about nonprofits at all.
But it's
But
still,
there is something in our ordinance and this CUP about a home-based business.
there's only like two
But it
conditions on
It
this.
wouldn't be a home-based
It's for-
business
yeah.
anymore. Because it would be a separate parcel that doesn't have a home on it.
Right.
So it couldn't be a home base, it couldn't be a home business.
it couldn't be a business anymore because it wouldn't have a CUP anymore.
Right,
And it's not zoned for a business, whether it's nonprofit or for-profit.
Well, again, you have to go. and
About
see-
as desirable as Bud's Oasis.
did he get,
He-
Ken had comments,
Yeah,
sorry.
in a
Sorry.
little bit, you can let it rip,
Sorry,
Okay.
I'll do my best.
right?
So because the home business now, if they were to separate that parcel in the building and give that to a nonprofit. Because it's, even a nonprofit is a business, even it's a not-for-profit business,
Mhm.
that it's not allowed in that district. So-
Yeah, what's the function of the property? It's still, you know, a yoga studio, whatever you want to call it, wellness center, whatever.
And on a side note, I mean, it's great for the island and it's extremely busy out there and I haven't run into anybody that speaks any ilk about the place. It's nothing but praise and, you know, even my neighbors, I mean, people love it. And what the Myries are trying to do is great. And we can try to think outside the box with it, but our current zoning says no.
Yeah,
But when they were, you know, when they were
proposing it.
proposing this whole thing, they were, yeah, it's because they were living there
Right.
and it was home. Now, you know,
She was gonna.
it was a
do
home
this.
business.
But I mean, there's all kinds of instructors that are showing up over there now. I mean, the thing has grown
Oh,
exponentially.
there you go. I mean, again, at that point, where should it be in the commercial zone compared to that zone?
Not in the right zone again.
Yeah. And.
You
know,
gotta follow the conditions of the CUP. I don't have it in front of us,
I
but,
haven't either. Yeah.
but Rich is
I
right.
have
It's a short CUP with only one or two conditions.
Right, yeah.
But I think one of the conditions is
One of the conditions
it's the
was,
home occupation or home business.
one of the conditions was it doesn't follow the land.
Correct.
Okay, when they sell the property.
Yeah.
The thing has to dissolve.
Well, and if they signed off on that and they agreed to
They
it,
don't have to tear the building down. They
No.
can use the building for storage.
Yeah.
Whoever buys it
or a house. or
Somebody
something,
else
yeah.
can do another home-based, get a CUP for another home-based business out of there, but the current home-based business on the sale of that property, it has to be dissolved according to the CUP.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just don't see how they can do what they're proposing out there, Rich. That's a consensus, if you need a motion, or if this is just the
I mean,
initial
the-
letter. Cause I know I just picked this up this morning. so-
Yes, and I received it at 7:47 yesterday morning.
Yeah, at that point, I don't know if we should be putting stuff on the agenda at the 25th hour on some of this stuff, but.
Well, I mean, I don't think we're, you know, at this point, they haven't come in to do anything. This is just a letter. And how I read it is they've already put the wheels in motion to put it in a nonprofit, and they had the first meeting of the newly formed board of directors. Well, to me, that says they're already inching into a gray area where, you know, yep.
Yeah, so this was, to give some background. They came in and saw me in January, I think it was, and we had it on the agenda for early February. And that's where I had taken that exhibit and I had kind of drawn the dash line, to create 3 acres on the south side of that lot to get everyone's, input.
Yep, I remember
And
that.
we got the input from the group. And Ken has continued to talk with me about this, met with me late last week. And so I honestly didn't know that this letter was going to be arriving yesterday. And I'm not looking here, I don't think Ken's looking here tonight for, approval or denial. I see this letter, and the reason I did share it, because I saw it and it was just like, okay, I need to modify the agenda and everything, is this is good information. This is more information than what we
Well, I
have in
appreciate their
February.
honesty.
And I do too. So I look at tonight as furthering that discussion of, what the intentions are. And now I understand that, right now, there's really not a good path forward with this. And it's about sharing that back with them. And I would like to keep it on the agenda for June to give us some time to think about it, because you literally got it in your mailbox yesterday.
Can you also give us a copy of the CUP?
Yes, of course.
I know it's only one page.
I know, absolutely. I should have brought it tonight. But this is an ongoing dialogue. Because I agree with Paul. I mean, it's, you know, I drive past there every day coming into work. I see activity there and I hear from everyone how great that location is. So I would like to just continue thinking about it over the next month.
That's kind of why in that zone we had in their educational facility, and then we ended up taking it out, spotted it at the meeting here, what, 1 or 2 meetings ago. I
Right.
mean, thinking outside the box, I mean, one way to fix it is, you know, mixed use, like we were doing on Middle Road. Anything that wasn't within 1,000 feet of the lake, you know, up Big Bay to the airport, because anything, you know, actually both sides, you know, could be mixed use up to the airport. A little late for that now because the zoning rewrites, you know, done, but you know, maybe there's other ways to think outside the box on this, because people love what's going on there. And being across from the airport, I don't see where it's really hurting anything.
Except it's against the ordinance.
The current ordinance.
I think it's a nice idea. I think they've thought it out well. They haven't considered the verbiage of what they've been allowed. Something has to change in order to have it be allowed. Something that we have written in our ordinance has to change or it can't fly.
It's working right now as a home-based business, because there's, I mean, I guess in the home-based business, you're allowed so many employees.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're going over that
In
threshold.
fact-
Yeah, I don't know either. Like you said, I think it's like 4.
Who's really policing number of employees, and who's,
We either go by the ordinances or we don't. And if we don't, they have a good idea. Let's see if they can somehow work around it, or we can help them work around it.
Well, I'm fine with what Rich suggested. This is a starting point with this letter. And again, I appreciate their honesty, what they're trying to do. Hopefully you can relate to them our concerns, which should also be their concerns. Because they are risking, you know,
yeah, I
losing
mean,
their entire thing.
when I see the way this is written and how, you know, they're, you know, already moving forward into a quote unquote gray area, it causes me to, you know, blood pressure does go up just a little bit, much like.
We either abide by
Much
the
like-
ordinances or we don't.
Much like some people with craftivity.
Oh. Didn't bring them up.
Hadn't noticed. I'm on medication.
So I'll convey what we've talked about tonight with them. But like I said, I would like to leave it on the agenda for our next meeting to continue, because we're all gonna think about it, and it's just gonna be like, oh, what about this? And maybe that works, maybe it doesn't.
Fair enough.
Okay, so the complaint on Whitefish we talked about, that was great, excellent, new business. You know, that's always a work in progress right up to the last 24 hours. Thanks, Rich, for that. Future agenda items, same thing. Extended public comment. Mr. Aylen. Extended public comment up to 5 minutes.
Great. So first, kudos to Rich and Katie for collecting that information on 951. I think from reading the minutes that were published on regarding the last discussion on this, I guess I'm not totally clear on, you know, there's a UDC piece here, a building inspection versus a permitted use piece of what's going on at 951. I think it sounds like from the minutes there have been enough violations that would trigger a revocation of the permit for a number of different things. And so I'm keen on what's going to be the resolution of permitted use at 951. And if there's been some discussion that I've missed, fine, but I'll follow up with you, Rich and Katie, on that. And I guess the only other thing I would add is having been, so both the Wellness Center and Bud's Oasis, which is another example of a home-based business that was right there on Big Bay Road. These things tend to grow and get crowded, and I'm a neighbor of both of those things. And so I would just say, hey, sure, I love the idea, but we've got to, per the discussion here, the zoning ordinance is in place for a reason because it's becoming a commercial operation that's growing. So I appreciate the conversation and trying to find a solution that's beneficial to everyone in the surrounding area.
Thanks, David.
Paul?
Three things here, regarding the Bartzel's boat storage concept. About 42 years ago, Bartzel's tried a boat storage yard concept and a mini storage about where the tennis courts are out on the Marina Point. For whatever reason, he put in tennis courts instead. We tried this before and it didn't pan out then. For whatever reason, he got distracted for whatever reason. So he tried this before. If he wants to try and rezone something out, say to W2 on Damage Trail, great. I mean, maybe Sue Ellen, you can be W2 and they can put Craftivity next to you, Craftivity South, and God knows what, you can have the second largest commercial enterprise next to you. It's what's wonderful. Let me tell you, you want to know. And as for this wellness center out there by the airport, it sounds to me almost like everyone loves the Myries, and maybe that it's a great thing out there, but it's almost like you're trying to do, no matter how great they are, you're trying to find a way to have a tail wag the dog. Maybe you should just try and enforce the ordinance. I'm just throwing it out as an example. It sounds to me, just for a little bit from just what you're reading here, they're going to do this regardless. Maybe it's just a good idea to write a letter saying, hey, what you sent to us is in violation of the ordinance. Just be aware of this. And if it goes through, you're risking revocation of your CUP and you're in violation. You could go to court, you could lose everything. I mean, that's what the CAs in the past would have done. Whether you had the backbone, better question yet, does the town board have the backbone? Looking at you, Amy.
I got it.
I don't know. It all depends. They've done it before in the past. Just throwing it out. Maybe they have nothing to fear. I don't know. The emperor has no clothes. Who knows?
Anything else?
That's enough, we could say.
Thanks, Paul. Next scheduled meeting?
So we do have a conflict. The annual Board of Review is going to be in here from 4 to 6 p.m. that night.
June 3rd.
Yes,
On June 3rd?
on June 3rd.
Or another
Well,
day
let's do
that
it a
week,
different
or
day.
So maybe June 2nd will work.
That's a Tuesday. That works for me.
nothing with the town.
You know
board
what?
that
Let me,
early,
let me
No.
check, let me check the
Yeah, you're the
calendar.
second Tuesday.
Let me check.
Yeah.
Before.
Yeah, maybe we could that, yeah, maybe that would work. How about you, Jim? You're around June 2nd, Tuesday. I know Sue Ellen will be here.
Yeah, I'm here.
You're working at the chamber, right?
Yep.
Yep, good for you.
So as of this moment, Tuesday, June 2nd works.
What time?
4:30. 4:30 for us working stiffs,
Yeah.
Okay, 4:30.
right?
Yep.
Yeah.
I'll be here.
And
You're
we're,
always here.
I think I can make it.
we'll come find
You got a conflict, Jim?
No, we're leaving the next meeting. Once I know.
Oh, so this works better anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I couldn't make the third.
Okay.
Hopefully it's second.
you.
Not all this. Okay.
We need your presence. Your smiling personality.
Okay, well, we're adjourned. Thank you, everyone.
Oh,
Thanks.
Thanks. Adjournment,
it
Paul.
is. You see what time it is.
Thank
Hey,
you, public.
Rich,
Yes.
are you in the
6:05.
office tomorrow morning?